Welcome to Naughty Relationship Stories, where passion, drama, secrets, and unexpected twists come alive. My name's Sophia. I'm 32 and I've been married to Ethan for nearly 5 years. No kids yet. It's just the two of us. I spend most of my time at home and I like it that way. I'm the type who finds comfort in quiet routines. Books in the morning, a little cleaning here and there, sometimes baking if I'm feeling sweet. I've built a life that's simple, predictable. And lately, a little too predictable. Ethan's a good man. Responsible and kind. He's also the type who kisses your forehead instead of your mouth and forgets birthdays unless his phone reminds him. He's not unloving, just unavailable. Especially in ways I don't talk about out loud. He left for a work trip 2 days ago. Just a short one, nothing new. He travels a lot. And as usual, the universe waited for him to leave before something went wrong. I woke up that morning freezing. The bedroom was cold, like bone deep. Why is there ice in my lungs kind of cold? I wrapped the blanket around me like a cocoon and stumbled out of bed. The thermostat screen was blank. I pressed the buttons like I knew what I was doing, but nothing happened. Dead. Completely dead. I called Ethan, shivering and annoyed. He answered groggily, still in bed on the other side of the country. "Try resetting the breaker," he mumbled. I did. Nothing. "Call Rick," he finally said, sighing. "He's the HVAC guy I've used before. He's solid." I wasn't thrilled about having a stranger come over while I was home alone, but I was too cold to care. I called the number he gave me, and the woman on the line said someone could be at my house within the hour. I threw on a pair of leggings and a fitted sweatshirt. Nothing fancy, just something cozy that clung to me in all the right places. I didn't plan on impressing anyone, but I caught my reflection as I passed the mirror and paused. I fluffed my hair a little, bit my lip. I hadn't looked at myself like that in a while. Maybe it was the loneliness. Maybe it was the cold. Maybe it was the creeping ache of a woman who hadn't been touched in too long. The doorbell rang right on time. I opened the door and, God help me, there he was. The technician. Tall, mid-30s maybe. Strong arms, fitted shirt, tool belt slung low on his hips. Not a model, but effortlessly masculine in a way Ethan hadn't been in years. His eyes were a warm gray, curious but confident. And when he smiled, it wasn't just polite. It lingered. "You must be Sophia," he said, his voice smooth and just deep enough to make me forget the cold for a moment. "That's me," I said, trying not to sound flustered. "Come in, it's freezing." He stepped inside and I caught a whiff of something woodsy and warm. Not overpowering, just inviting. I led him to the thermostat and tried to act like I wasn't hyper-aware of him moving behind me. "This happens a lot with these older systems," he said, kneeling down and popping open the panel. "Shouldn't take long." He got to work quickly, moving with a kind of quiet confidence that made him even more attractive. I sat nearby, pretending to check my phone, sneaking glances when he wasn't looking. It had been too long since I noticed a man like that. Since a man made me feel noticed. I said it before I even thought it through. "I haven't been able to shower. No heat this morning." He looked up. "I can bypass the heating circuit for now. Get you hot water. It's temporary, but it'll work until the full repair's done." I smiled. "You'd be my hero." His gaze lingered on mine for a second, longer than it should have. Just long enough to feel like something passed between us. He got up and went to his truck. I watched from the window as he moved. Broad shoulders, gloved hands, every motion effortless. When he came back inside, he brushed the snow off his boots and looked up, catching me watching him. Neither of us said anything, but something unspoken settled in the space between us. He fixed the bypass quickly, tested the hot water line and gave me a nod. "You're all set." "Thank you," I said, and for a moment I forgot how to stand still. "I'll be downstairs finishing the repair," he added. "Let me know if you need anything." Our eyes met again. And again, something passed. Heat. Anticipation. A flicker of boldness neither of us expected. I swallowed hard, gave a nod and walked upstairs, my skin tingling, my heart racing, my thoughts a chaotic blur. As the hot water steamed up the bathroom, I stripped slowly. The cold was gone, but the tension remained. I tried not to think about him as the water slid down my back. But I did. Over and over. It is for the first time in a long time. I didn't feel invisible. I felt seen. I felt alive. The shower should have cleared my head. But it didn't. Instead, the warmth just deepened the ache. Not just in my body, but in places I hadn't let myself feel in a long time. As I stepped out of the shower, steam curling around me like a lover's whisper, I caught my reflection in the mirror. Hair damp and tousled, skin flushed from heat, eyes a little too wide, lips a little too red. There was a part of me that didn't recognize that woman anymore, and another part that missed her. I wrapped a towel around myself, tight but not too tight. Maybe I took a little longer moisturizing than usual. Maybe I added a spritz of body mist I hadn't touched in months. Maybe I was curious what it would feel like if someone noticed the effort. I was halfway to the bedroom when I heard movement, footsteps on the stairs. My heart stopped. I peeked around the corner and froze. There he was, the technician, standing at the top of the stairs, clipboard in hand, eyes wide as they landed on me. Towel, damp skin, bare shoulders, hair still dripping. "Oh, sorry," he said quickly, stepping back like a gentleman. "Didn't mean to, I held up a hand trying to play it cool. "It's okay. I didn't think you'd still be up here. I was just testing the airflow. The vent in the hallway." He gestured lamely toward the wall. I looked at him. He looked at me. And in that pause, the air changed. There was no mistaking it. His eyes flicked down just once, and not in a vulgar way. More like hunger he was trying desperately to suppress. My body responded instantly. Skin prickled, throat tightened, and God help me, I didn't move away. "Everything working?" he asked, his voice lower now. I nodded slow. "The water's perfect." Neither of us blinked. "You look warm," he added, and then gave a small, nervous chuckle as if regretting it immediately. I stepped closer. Just one step. Bare feet on hardwood. He didn't move. Neither did I. And for a second, just one reckless second, I imagined what it would feel like if I closed that gap. If I leaned in. If I let the towel fall and let his hands do what my husband's hadn't in years. The air between us was thick, heavy and electric. But then it passed. He cleared his throat, stepping back with a forced smile. "Anyway, I'll finish up downstairs. Shouldn't be long." "Sure," I said, breathless. He turned and headed back down the stairs. And I just stood there, towel clutched to my chest, heart thudding like I just stepped off the edge of something dangerous. Something exciting. And suddenly the house didn't feel cold anymore. When I came down 15 minutes later, fully dressed but still flushed, he was finishing up at the base of the furnace, writing something on the invoice. "All done," he said, glancing up at me with a smile. Like nothing had happened. Like he hadn't seen me nearly naked. Like I hadn't wanted him to. "Everything's good now," he added, sliding the paper across the counter. "Your husband can call me if he needs the report." "I'll let him know," I said, my voice even but my hands not quite steady. He packed up his tools in silence. But as he walked past me to the door, his voice dropped just enough to make my skin shiver again. "Let me know if anything else needs fixing." Our eyes met. I watched him walk toward the front door, tool bag in hand, steps confident, but he didn't open it. He paused. His hand rested on the handle like he was thinking. Or hesitating. Like maybe, just maybe, I wasn't the only one feeling that heavy electricity still buzzing in the room. I swallowed hard, my body still humming from our earlier moment at the top of the stairs. I should have said nothing. I should have let him walk out and leave this tension in the past. But I didn't. Instead I said, softly but clearly, "You don't have to rush off, you know." He turned, slowly. His eyes met mine, and there was something in them that wasn't there before. Something dark, curious, hungry. "I thought maybe I made you uncomfortable," he said, voice quiet. I took a step closer, pulse thumping in my ears. "You didn't." The room shrank around us. He set the bag down beside the door. A silent decision. A reckless one. I could hear my own breathing. Feel the flush spreading across my chest. There was no plan. Just instinct and need. A storm I'd buried for too long finally cracking through. He walked toward me, deliberate now, slow. I stood still, waiting, daring him to get close enough to hear my heartbeat. He did. And when our bodies were only inches apart, he didn't ask. He didn't need to. His hand reached up, fingers brushing my jaw before they slid to the back of my neck, pulling me into him. The kiss was firm and deep. No hesitation. No testing the waters. It was a kiss that already knew the answer. I gasped against his mouth as he backed me against the wall. his hands exploring without apology, fingers trailing beneath my shirt, over my waist, to places that hadn't been touched like that in far, far too long. I clung to him like I was afraid to let go, because part of me was. My body responded without thought, arching into him as his mouth moved from my lips to my neck, trailing heat in his wake. His hands were strong but patient. He was focused, like he was learning me in real time. And I wanted to teach him everything. When he pulled back to meet my gaze, both of us breathless, his voice was barely a whisper. "Say stop, and I'll walk away right now." I didn't say a word. Instead, I grabbed the hem of my top and pulled it over my head, tossing it aside. And just like that, we stepped into the fire. We didn't make it to the bedroom. We barely made it down the hall. He pressed me against the wall in the narrow space beside the staircase, his mouth finding mine again as he worked my leggings down, slow and steady. My fingers fumbled with his belt, needing him closer, needing him now. Everything was sharp and hot. The brush of his skin against mine, the cold wall behind my back, the way he moaned when I dug my nails into his shoulders. We didn't speak. We didn't need to. I had never felt so exposed, or so alive. He filled me in one deep claiming thrust that made my entire body shudder. I wrapped my legs around him instinctively, clinging to him as he moved inside me with urgent precision. Every roll of his hips hit where I needed it most. Every kiss was harder, deeper, more demanding. And still he looked at me, like I wasn't just a body, but a woman who hadn't been seen in years. My moans grew louder, breaths shallower. I buried my face in his neck, barely stifling the cry that threatened to escape. He tightened his grip on my thighs, holding me steady as we crashed together again and again and again. When I finally unraveled, it wasn't quiet. It wasn't soft. It was raw, honest, liberating. And when he came right after, pressed deep inside me, forehead resting against mine, both of us gasping for air, I knew we had passed a point we couldn't come back from. And I didn't regret it. Not even for a second. His chest was still rising fast, and so was mine, our bodies slick, tangled in the quiet aftermath of what just happened in the hallway. But it wasn't over. Not for him. Without a word, he lifted me into his arms like I weighed nothing. My breath caught as he carried me toward the kitchen, every step deliberate, like he knew exactly what he wanted, and exactly how I needed it. The cool marble of the counter met my skin as he bent me over it, his hands spreading across my back, pressing me down gently but firmly. My legs trembled beneath me, still weak from the hallway. I could barely catch my breath. And then he started again. This time slower, rougher, hungrier. The sound of skin against skin echoed through the quiet kitchen, mixed with my ragged breathing and soft moans I couldn't hold back if I tried. His grip on my hips tightened as he moved in deeper, with a rhythm that said he wasn't just touching me, he was claiming me. Unapologetically. Completely. There was no sweet talking. No asking. Just pure, unfiltered need. My nails clawed at the smooth counter, trying to hold on to something, anything, as my body shook from the waves rolling through me. I wasn't just unraveling. I was coming apart entirely. And he didn't stop. Not until my voice was hoarse from saying his name. Not until my legs were trembling so hard I could barely stand upright. When he finally pulled me up against him, wrapping his arms around me from behind, his lips brushed the shell of my ear. "You don't know what you do to me," he whispered, voice low and breathless. I leaned back into his chest, body weak, skin flushed, heart pounding like a war drum. My eyes fluttered shut, letting myself feel everything. His warmth, his breath, the way his fingertips traced lazy circles on my stomach. I didn't want to move. Didn't want to go back to pretending. Didn't want to think about Ethan. About reality. About anything beyond this one moment where I felt truly, shamelessly alive. I don't remember how long we stood there like that. Eventually, we dressed in silence. He grabbed his tool bag again, gave me a final look, and this time when he reached for the door, I let him go, as I had to. But that didn't stop me from walking to the window moments later, watching him load up his truck, every part of my body aching with memory. As he climbed in and pulled away, I whispered to myself, what the hell did I just do? But deep down, I already knew. And the worst part? I wanted to do it again. Thanks for watching. And don't forget to subscribe for more spicy stories.